proudly we hail, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, traitors that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the fray, and the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight to rename the name of the brave. We are the U.S. of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. This land of the brave, the U.S. of A. Oh, traitors that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land of the free, in the home of the
What's up, guys? Hey, how are ya? Thursday night NNR Cup Series live from Iowa. Expert Racing live in the booth with me as well. First of all, big thank you to the one and only Madison Rising for allowing NNR to use their version of the national anthem at every single one of these NNR races. Again, I save it for the Cup guys. End of the week, big bang, ready to go. Vols fan out there with big old 1776, absolutely chatting it up, same as Expert. But man, big thank you one more time. Go on over to MadisonRising.com or DaveBrayUSA.com and look these guys up. They're amazing. Most patriotic rock band in the good old US of A. Man, they do amazing work. I was actually just telling Expert while that was playing, I could listen to that over and over and over again, and it never ever gets old. So one more big thanks. Well, Expert, we've seen some great racing all week long. We saw Bossy Gio get it done Tuesday night after some dramatic racing at the end. Just last night, we saw PTH the GOAT show us all how to get around on that high side to make that line really work, even though he was under pressure for like the last 20 laps from the boss man himself, King Mathers. There's a lot of great Cup cars out here tonight, bud. This is like your third or fourth week in on Thursday nights. Who gets it done tonight?
Well, there's a lot of guys that can get it done. We have a great field like Lucky Dog. We have Boehner that's going to be out in the field. He's having some technical difficulties, but he's certainly a guy that can put on a show. We've seen it for multiple weeks at a time. Even in other leagues, he's been able to dominate pretty well. So he's a guy we can keep an eye on. Looking at somebody you can't ever bet against, Stout Whiskey. He's going to be out there. CGM X Rose. He's out there. So there's a lot of great guys. Of course, I won't put my pick out there until after the second stage, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys. And hey, these cup races never get old, and with the action we've seen this week, I don't think it's going to get old tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what these guys do tonight.
You're absolutely right. And you brought up Boehner. He is going to have an onboard with us. For us tonight, but he was having some wheel issues. Part of when he's going down pit road to make any kind of adjustments, he's got to very, very quick grab his controller and do everything he's got to do with that in order to change his wedge, change his tire pressure, do anything he might need to do with the tape, and then get back out on track. And oh, by the way, switch back over to the wheel. I hope there isn't an issue between going back and forth. Like, is he going to have to shut off his controller in order for his wheel to kick back in, and vice versa when he's got to go ahead and make those changes? I'm not sure if it's just as simple as mapping out some buttons on his wheel for it all, or what the case is, but I'm glad Boehner is here. I thought when he got his wheel, he got iRacing and was ready to go, and then started having problems, I thought, he was just going to say, I'll catch NNR on the iRacing side, and we'll see y'all there. But I expect that his 36 Select Blinds Ford Mustang is going to be up front. And the reason I started talking about him and how fast he is, he was actually qualifying around the top line. So I absolutely expect him to be very fast. Just got the invite from the one and only J-Pa. So we're going to go ahead and get loaded in here and get ready to go. These guys, just like last night, they're going to be under the lights. It's going to be one hell of a time getting your invite right now. Why don't you never show up on my friends list for some reason? I don't get it.
I don't know either.
Let's see, invite to game. There we go. That is
all right. Thank
you,
sir.
So, man, but as far as me, if I had to pick somebody, I'm not going to go with Lucky Dog. I'm not going to go with Rose. I want to see a more smoke get back into victory lane. It's been since like the first 3 races of the season where he hasn't been able to close it out, but he's been bad fast. So hopefully he can get it done. Rock, good to see you as well. Saying hello to everybody in the booth and good luck to all drivers tonight. Followed up by a mighty 500 bits. Rock, you are a legend, sir. Thank you very much. We're about to go through this field. Jose 95 on the pole with that 42 Credit One Bank Camaro for CGMX Rose to the outside. The 48 Ally Camaro for the Aviator, Forever Strong. There is that Geico 13 for Lucky Dog. We've got the 2 of Stout Whiskey. Tonight's admin, Coey was running a little behind. 22 of the infamous J-Pod to his outside. My pick, the 9 car in that UniFirst Camaro for a more smoke. 38 of Fatless Dig. Great starting position for him. Dan the Lawn Man in that Haas 41. 21 of Parsville, my Silent Hunter in that Motorcraft Ford. 34 of Trippy Tricks. 36 of Boehner. There he is. 53 of Mike Honcho with the 27 of Captain to his outside. 47 of Augustus. And the 16 of NNR Trip. Got a couple trips in the field. 4-car Natty Dread. The 12 of Knights rocking that Maytag Ford. Yep. 8-car of Fort Smitty. 18-car of NNR Rowdy. This is kind of an awkward starting spot for him. He's usually a little bit more forward. And then we are back up front with the 95. Now, Expert, they're going down the backstretch, side by side, under pace, under lights. Possibly the last time these guys get to race here at Iowa. Stout Whiskey pointed it out, and it didn't really sink in during the truck and Xfinity races. This track is more than likely gone after this season. Buddy, take us green one more time. Iowa, mid cornfield, go for it, buddy.
And here we go, one last time at Iowa. Jose 95 is going to take the charge in that 95 down on the bottom line, already showing strength down there. He's going to slide up right there against the wall and he's going to be able to dive it down into turns 3 and 4, near 3 wide for second right now. J-Pa already making use of that extremely high line to try to get around some competition. And your leader still across for lap number 1, Jose 95.
Yeah, Jose 95 out there with that great Fanatec equipment, the same as the 48, the same as the 42, the same as the 13. There's a lot of pro leaguers and pro league hopefuls in this field tonight. As you watch the 42 wash all the way up the field, Stout Whiskey right now sitting about P number 5. Everybody up there on that high line all the way around until they get to the corner. Then they want to duck down, try to maybe pull a little bit of a slide job and get back and going, but still everybody chasing that 95. 42 using that momentum. He's going to challenge him for the first time.
Definitely, and side by side, we're already seeing the strength of the high side, and with these Cup cars, that high side may prove more valuable. It proved more valuable in the Xfinity Series than in the Truck Series, so I'd expect it to be probably the best lane to take around the track. Right now, Jose still holding on to that bottom line. That 42 of Rose going to move in front of him to try to put some dirty air on the nose and get him tight. Rose is going to be able to lead this lap. New leader, like you mentioned, 42.
Yeah, 42 CJMX Rose. There's the 95, now back P2. 48 of the Aviator, as you just mentioned, up on the high side. Stout Whiskey with a huge slide job to bring that deuce into P number 2. So move him on up and put the 22 of J-Pa right in his tracks. It's not going to be long before these teammates. So if the 2 has a good race, the 22 has a good race, you can almost bet that the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man is also going to have a good race. All those guys work very, very well together. And it looks like, Expert, it kind of looks like we're starting to see a little bit of separation. Behind that 41 of Dan the Lawn Man, there's about a 3 to 4 car length difference back to another pack of 3 or 4 that's headed up by the 13 of Lucky Dog, and then another pack of 3. So we're already starting to see a little separation. Is it just the difference in lines? Or is it possibly a difference of equipment, a different of presets? What do you think's going on here?
Right now, looking on board with Lucky Dog, it looks like a difference in preset. These guys are slinging these cars all the way around like they're drifting around these corners. So these guys may have gone with a looser preset, expecting shorter runs or something along those lines. We have 280 laps here tonight, 100% race for possibly the last race here at Iowa, and these guys want to go out with a bang of 100% race, but a lot of these guys may have taken a looser preset, expecting possibly shorter runs. We saw that kind of in stage 1, in which there was an early caution, and then we ran green through the rest of the way until the stage break, and then green through stage 2, and didn't really see many cautions until the final stage. So this is something to look out for, that these guys have paid attention to the past 2 nights, understood, hey, we didn't have that big of a run in the first part of stage number 1 in either the trucks or Xfinity, but coming here to Cup, they're expecting the same thing. Not sure if it's going to happen, but you can see definitely the change in strategy that these guys have taken after looking at the past 2 nights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talked a little bit about it last night. Many months ago, we did a charity race here for an Xbox player by the name of Beamish Fern. All right, he needed to gather or raise. There we go. About $20,000 for a brand new wheelchair van for the guy. Unfortunately, he's stuck in a wheelchair. I'm not sure if it's MS or whatever it is, but the way that he was traveling around was in a regular seat. His legs were propped up on milk crates. They couldn't do a whole lot. He was very, very uncomfortable anytime he had to go to doctor's appointments or anything like that. This was the first time I was actually made aware of the multi-grooves here at Iowa. And I remember the 22 of J-Pa that I'm following along with right now, as he's got the 9 of Amore Smoke looking low. That was the first time that I realized you can really move your way around this track on that high side, and it could be very, very dominant. I don't know how successful it is on the long run, but man, if you have a short run like we did last night to close out the Xfinity Series in 20 laps after a caution came out, we saw exactly what PTH the GOAT was able to do. during that charity race, we raised about $2,000 all in all, and they were able to get somebody to modify their existing van to get his wheelchair in and out and make him a whole lot more comfortable. That is probably the fondest memory I've got of this race, of this track. And I'm actually very, very sorry to see this track possibly go. I'd like to see it stick around in the DLC. Expert, I lose you, buddy.
Yeah, sorry about that. My Discord's acting up a little bit, but able to get it fixed, hopefully, I think. You got me?
I got you, buddy.
All right. Well, right now, I couldn't hear you, so if you asked me a question, if you could repeat what you last said, because I could not hear it at all.
You're good, man. Talk us what you got.
Well, right here, looking back in the pack, J-Paul was, he actually got passed by your pick of More Smoke, and now Dan the Lawn Man in that 41, now holding off the 13 of Lucky Dog. So this is something that we've seen all weekend pretty much. Guys that usually aren't up towards the front in most weeks are starting to be able to come into their own element here tonight and be able to put on a show. And like you were mentioning about the multiple lines here and how you found out about it, well, the multiple lines at Iowa really didn't become a actual thing in NASCAR Heat until NASCAR Heat 4, in which that actually allowed for multi-groove racing at a lot of places. Iowa being one of the biggest ones to change, in which they allowed for that multi-groove racing. That outside line really became a big factor, in which a lot of drivers finally started to use it. A lot of guys were able to learn how to do it, and then, of course, more followed, and now we're seeing it tonight as probably one of the dominant lines later down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great track. Like I said, I'd really like to see it stick around. If real NASCAR can't keep it on the circuit, at least keep it in whatever the next edition of the game is going to be called. I really think it would be a loss for the game if Iowa fell by the wayside. But still working our way through the field, kind of picking up on this and that driver, seeing where they're running, seeing what their lines are, seeing if they're loose still, or if they might have gone on a lower preset and they're pretty snug all the way through. I'm still seeing every single line used. As looked like the 27 of Cap might have had a little bit of an issue. He's just now getting back up to speed. Not sure if he got and made some contact or what, but we'll have to see. Mama Vols as well as Mrs. Vols out there in out there in chat. Ellie, good to see you. Mama Vols, always a pleasure. Glad that you and Rock and everybody else can keep this chat going. I'm glad y'all come back for every single one of these races. These guys out here on track make it all very much worth watching.
Definitely, and something that is definitely worth watching. The 42 of CGMX Rose. Look at the lead that he's pulled on to Aviator, and Aviator in second place. This is a huge gap, pretty much the whole back straightaway. For a majority of the time, it's just that big of a gap already, and we haven't had that many laps so far in this race, so that just goes to show how well Rose has that 42 hooked up already in the beginning of this race.
Yeah, CJMX Rose, he has not always been this strong. All right, I'm not going to say the word dominant because, I mean, anybody in this field can go up and win at any time, but he's been absolutely strong. I think he's got 10 wins on the season. I haven't pulled up the NNR Cup Series points in a little while now, but still he's setting one hell of a pace. I mean, we're talking about Captain in that 27 and how he was experiencing some issues. Well, Rose is all over his backside. It seems like Rose is really running high in turns in turns 1 and 2, and right down on the bottom in 3 and 4. Once Rose got picked up by Chip Ganassi Racing during Pro League season number 2, and he got this Fanatec equipment, he's just figured out some of the settings that really work on this game that you're able to change in game. It's not the same options that everybody else in the field has. So he has a little bit of an unfair advantage, but at the same time, man, it is what it is. I mean, Coe or Stout Whiskey, J-Pod, none of the other admins are going to say, you know what, you're not allowed to race with that equipment because it sets you apart. No, so he still has to wheel the thing, but it kind of, yeah, it is getting to the point to where every week we're seeing him pull out and be gone. The same thing as Lucky Dog. And if he's going to continue on with this pace tonight, last night Vols picked that we were only going to have 8 cars left on the lead lap when it was all said and done. Well, if he's going to finish up this tear after a full 100% race, we may not have anybody left on the lead lap if this 42 doesn't run into trouble at some point tonight.
Yeah, but something that you cannot look past at this point. CGMX Rose has won at a ton of tracks around this that are kind of like this. When it comes to, he's won Bristol earlier in the year. He ended up winning Martinsville in race number 10. Kansas, who is that's a multi-group track, very comparative to here with how dominant the Highline can be. He won that. And then he showed off his road course skills at Canadian Tire, not to mention wins at Auto Club in Atlanta as well. But something you can't look past. Who has won the last 2 races, which includes Bristol last week? Mr. Lucky Dog himself.
Yeah, and Lucky has the same equipment as CGMX Rose. Lucky drove for Germain Racing in season 2 of the Pro League, and for Joe Gibbs Racing in season 1. So it just kind of is the way it is, I guess. That's Balls. Yeah, I got you, bud. We'll definitely talk about that. If not, then we can definitely do over the weekend with Shadow and Turn Down for What. But still going through. Looks like some people are starting to go down pit road.
Yeah, and the green flag pit stops might be rolling in already. This could be a cycle. It could be just guys struggling with adjustments. That brings up a lot of questions with these guys on what could possibly happen coming soon with these pit adjustments. If guys are really struggling right now, it probably wouldn't hurt as long as you can make it to the next fuel window or make the strategy to make it to the end of the stage, whichever is the goal at this point. It wouldn't hurt to try to pit as early as you can to get the adjustments you need in it, especially if you're already struggling at this point in the run. You know, do not risk losing any more time than you need to. The 4 of Natty Dread down pit road, the 12 of Knights. So the green flag pit cycle already starting.
Yeah, green flag. I mean, I saw one other very, very early. I think the last time Boehner went on by the start stripe, it said about 35 laps. Let's see, as he comes across right now, survey says 30. Yeah, okay, so I was right. So 34 more to go here in stage number 1. You just saw on the right side of the scene the 4-car Natty Dread. He just exited his pit stall, so he's going to come on out, and I believe everybody can make it on one pit stop. Although, if I'm not mistaken, last night during the Xfinity race, those guys were only getting 36. So with 35, now 33 to go, we'll have to, when Boehner goes down pit road, I'll have to see exactly how much he's able to get. His fuel light's not yet on. I don't see any kind of an issue with tires. There's the 18 of Rowdy getting a little loose, getting into on the apron, getting ready to go down pit road for him. So Boehner right now sitting in P number 7. He's got Jose right up ahead of him, as well as Lucky Dog, and then J-Pie and Dan the Lawn Man right behind him, riding along with that 41 right now.
And this is something to note here. Most of these guys that are going in right now are outside the top 10. So to look at this, these guys must have noticed in the past 2 races how short pitting was so effective. And like we mentioned a few seconds ago about how important the adjustments are to try to make your car better right now, so you can hopefully gain that time that you're losing on pit road back. This is a very smart idea, especially if you look back at the past few races, and especially if it cycles out and you still have that time and you're not losing it to the guys that pit later. It could be a good run for these guys. And right as I say that about the top 10, our leader, CGMX Rose, going in.
Yeah, CGMX Rose is in, Boehner is in, and this is going to be the moment of truth for that 36. Will he actually be able to come on back out of pit road? Yep, the man was able to switch over from the wheel to the controller, get his settings in, get back to the wheel, and get ready to come back out on track. Boehner, I give you the biggest A for effort. Buddy, thank you very much for all you do to make sure that you stick with your commitment to NNR. I absolutely appreciate you, man. Good job.
And I mean, that just shows the toughness. And a lot of guys just go, hey, it's just league racing. It's nothing to worry about. Like, most guys just push it off. But it takes a lot to be able to come out here on track. It's very competitive. We saw that in the Truck Series race with tempers boiling. We saw it in the Xfinity Series race with how close those guys were battling towards the end of that race. And we know how tough the competition is here, especially with the Pro League guys that are up here. We know a lot of those guys, you know, they feed off this competition. They're paid to compete. So, I mean, that tells you a lot about these guys that are up here that, you know, it takes a lot, not only mentally, but as well as physically, being able to be quick, like you said, on the controller, back to the wheel and all that. Props to Boehner. That definitely, he's showing out tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, he did very, very well. Started off in the NNR Truck Series, was very, very quickly recognized by the guys in the Cup side, worked his way on up to Xfinity, won a couple of races there, and then he made the full-time swing to Cup. And the man is very, very well spoken. And Coey and Stout Whiskey and all them picked him up to assist him on in the Cup Series, and then he actually became his series admin this year as well. Now, he doesn't run the Xfinity Series, doesn't run the Truck Series, doesn't run the Cup Series, but Coey and Stout Whiskey, they fully trust him in anything that he might suggest or any ideas that he might have for this series, because they know he only wants what's best for him. If you run in a league long enough and you care about it, it kind of becomes a living thing. That's the way that I see this league. That's the way I've seen other leagues in my past. It's almost like a living, breathing thing that you have to care about, you have to take care of. And when you get the best people to run it, it just completely thrives. And NNR is probably one of the biggest communities out there, with the biggest hearts, the best drivers. This is why I call NNR home.
Definitely, and we've praised it so much, the development system. We've seen so many top guys. I mean, NNR Bowling in the Truck Series. Expect to see him if the preset side of the league comes back or whatnot. Expect for him to be a big player moving up to either the Xfinity or Cup Series. He definitely has the talent for it. But, I mean, all the way around, it just shows how good this development project is for a lot of these drivers. And you've already mentioned how Boehner moved up through the system, and you see where he's at. This is definitely, this whole community here in NNR is all about helping each other be successful, but also be fun and have competitive racing. And it's fun for us up here in the booth being able to watch this. I mean, I'm just in awe to see how these guys have become so good at this craft that we call league racing. And it's just amazing to watch week in and week out.
Absolutely, couldn't have said it any better myself. After that round of green flag pit stops, it looks like Jose 95 was able to stay out just a little bit longer. And I said I was going to find out exactly how long these guys can go on a tank of gas. They've actually got a little bit bigger of a gas tank. Last night, the Xfinity guys could go 36. These guys can go 40. So in saying that, do you run it out 32, 36 laps and come on in? That way you've actually got a little bit fresher of a tire for the long run, where somebody that pits early would really have an issue first, and maybe you could do something with them on track. Or do you think that these guys, they're used to this? They know what they can expect out of their cars. They know what they expect out of their setups. They take the time, they take the effort, all week long, and to prepare for these races. Now, it's not like Turn Down for What, where they've got to submit practice photos to show anything. They used to have to do that, but they've gotten away from that this year. So all these guys, man, they're veterans. They know what to do. They know what to expect. Right now, from 5th through 9th is going to be Lucky Dog, NNR Rowdy, Boehner in 7th, Jose 95 in 8th, and Mike Honcho in 9th. 42 is CJMX Rose. He is back up front, and oh, by the way, only about a third of a track away from 7th place. A lot of guys are already one lap down.
And that's something we've saw all through the short track back-to-back weeks here. I mean, just how many guys have gone a lap down, and it just shows how impressive these leaders have been as far as consistency. And we've mentioned that Iowa is a track that you have to be consistent at to be able to maintain and be successful. And right now, yeah, I mean, you mentioned it about how these guys are veterans and that they know what they're doing. I mean, it just goes to show out here. And even though they don't have to submit practice clips or anything like that, we know these guys practice. I mean, it's just like we mentioned before, NNR is just so competitive. It's fun, but it's competitive. These guys know that to be at the top, they got to be able to practice, and they got to be able to make sure they can find that little bit of an edge that can put them above anybody who is trying to take the win away from them.
I mean, absolutely. These guys are 110% competitive. You think if, for example, Cowboy, if he wasn't competitive, if he didn't give a damn about how the races ran on Tuesday night, he wouldn't exacted any kind of revenge on a guy that he felt did him wrong. No, that was his competitive heart, his competitive spirit showing out with about 24, 25 laps to go. He wasn't going to let that stand. He felt like he'd been wrong. He felt like a few other people in the race had been wrong. If they didn't have some kind of a competitive streak, he would have said, yeah, you know what, whatever, go on. I'll catch you some other time, or we'll talk later. Instead, he decided to be like a Matt Kenseth, waiting on Joey Logano to come on back around, and bam! That's exactly what it was.
I talked to him after that point, actually just a few hours ago, and I think he might have got a few more fans from that one.
Yeah, a lot of people, of course, Coey and a few others, they weren't big fans of what happened. But
of course,
a lot of guys out there in the Discord, a lot of people in the chat, and some others that have reached out to him afterwards in messages said, maybe not. So we'll have to see. But I think that 9 of Amore Smokes moved up into P2. 48 of the Aviator in P number 3. Jose 95, I believe, is in P4, and then Lucky Dog still sitting in P5 with Rowdy right behind him.
Yeah, I got to give it to you, Pete. You're picking on more smoke, sitting up here, like near the front. I believe he's in second right now. And, I mean, I got to give it to you with this pick. This may actually be a very good pick in the long run, especially if he can get up there and challenge Rose. He was at one point during the Bristol race a very fast competitor, almost ran down and was able to pass Lucky Dog, who dominated Bristol. And him sitting in second right now, that could be setting himself up well later for this race.
Absolutely. As Boehner comes across the start stripe, we'll go ahead and see what we got left as far as laps. We're inside of 10 laps to go. Bama says, I can't hear. I can only see a spinning circle. Bama, please let me know if that changes. I don't see anything wrong with my stream. Expert, can you pull up my stream and see if it's
I have it up. Not on my side. Guys out there in chat, if there is an issue, try to hit the God, what's that button that I'm looking for?
Refresh.
The refresh. Thank you. Jesus, I feel you're correcting me on my technology terms now. This kind of makes me go with.
Longer than you. Remember, I'm 25 years older than you.
You know what? Well, I mean, it's better. It's better to be picked on for that than the baby face jokes again. But it's fun.
Yeah. Well, redheaded baby face jokes. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Balls. I appreciate you, man. Balls saying it might just be a momentary lag spike for Mama Balls, but yeah, still going through. CJ Rose still leading, 6 laps to go. We're going to go ahead and get back up with that 42 to see if he's going to have any challenges. Actually, we've got a couple on pit road, a couple early retirees, and unfortunately, man, we're only sitting at just about 9:30. We haven't seen any kind of a spike. Hopefully, that's not a thing, that's going to get worse throughout the night. But yeah, CJ Rose still leading. He should be coming to about, that should be 4 to go. And he's only one corner behind 8th place. So yeah, right now, everybody up to about 9th has been lapped by the 42. Talk about a dominant pace.
And that's just insane to talk about how these guys have been just flat out, I'm not going to say dominated, but right now Rose has just put in the work, and it's showing right now with how well he's been able to get out there. And it just shows how important clean air and separation is at a track like this, to where you can just focus on your own race. You don't have to play any defense. You can just play offense and focus on yourself and what you can do for later in a run.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can really do. And not only that, but once we get to the stage break, everybody's going to have a full, 40 seconds to be able to go on in, make any final adjustments that they've got to make, and then bring it on back out. 42 CJ Rose kind of slowing up, allowing one car to get back on the lead lap. He might have looked to see who he had a lap down and maybe saw a stronger car and didn't want them to be the lucky dog. So who knows? We'll have to see, but he definitely just slowed up and let the 27 captain go back by as Boehner comes off of turn 4, addressing the start stripe one more time. This is the last lap. Rose is going to win stage number 1 here at Iowa. Way to put it in the books. Hashtag grow with Rose. Man, what a phenomenal first stage. Again, these guys are racing 100% tonight, so we're not even quarter of the way through like what it would be with a 50% race. Again, all because this could very well be the last time we get to race Iowa, period. We're going to take a quick little break. We're going to go to NNRLeague.com, take a look around Zazzle one more time, and we'll be right back.
Hey NNR fans, are you looking for a way to rep your favorite NASCAR Heat preset league on Xbox Live? Look no further. Just go to NNRLeague.com, scroll down to the Zazzle tab, and see what we have to offer. From t-shirts to hoodies to clocks, we have everything you need to show your support. Thanks for being the best fans, and we hope to see you at the track repping that NNR red.
All right, guys, one more time, back at it, racked and stacked, back up, and man, what a field. So it looks like it's gonna be the 42 CJ Rose on the inside as a control car. 9 of them more smoke, able to find a spot right in front of the 48. 48 closing in. 2-car Stout Whiskey sitting about P4. The 13 of Lucky Dog now sitting P5. Great start, a little bit of separation in the field. Here we go again, expert, stage 2.
Yeah, and right now he's got so much pressure behind him, but the question is, these guys are side by side behind him, and this is probably the best thing Rose can see. He does not want to be in a battle at all. He wants them to stay battling behind him so they can stall each other out. But the Aviator is right there to the bumper. He's going to be saying that, hey, I'm not going to let you pull away like you did last time. I'm right here, and I'm here to battle. So the question is, will Aviator be able to track him down? He's right there, only about a car length to 2 car lengths back on the straightaway, and he may be losing a little bit of time. It's going to be interesting to see if he can make some adjustments to possibly his line, what he's running, do anything he can, because he cannot afford to let Rose break off into the clean air.
No, not at all. Ball's saying he thinks I'm running a high. Balls, I haven't made any setting changes to my Twitch. Not quite sure why you're having an issue. It might just be might just be where you're at. Sorry to say, buddy. But man, Talk about, we just saw 3 and 4 wide in the back half of this pack. Look at this Hornet's Nest. You got 3x3, 4-car Natty Dread up high, 22 of J-Paw, 36 of Boehner now to his outside captain in that 27. A little bit of contact there with Boehner. Not too bad, though. Everybody held on to it. They're going to be able to press on. But, yeah, coming off of turn 4, the 53 of Mike Honcho and the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man. Still 3 wide going through turns 2 and 3. Or 1 and 2, rather.
And you can see J-Paw was trying to push his teammate Dan the Lawn Man there on the bottom. These guys trying to work with each other down there to try to get through here, because 2 wide, you know you're going to stall out a little bit. Imagine 3 wide. You can't get back into the throttle. You can't let the car slide up the track like you want it to, especially on exit. You can't really dive it down as much as you want to and get that great of an entry. So it really hurts you as far as the space between you and the guys that you're trying to catch in front of you, and it stalls you out a lot more than you would be 2 wide. So definitely trying to get single filed out here. Of course, J-Paw still trying to go for positions, but that Hornet's Nest that was back there just a few laps ago has looked to have finally fizzled out.
Yeah, everybody kind of found a spot, found a line, whether it's down high in the middle or down low in the middle or up high. It seems like they all kind of migrate up to the top and then diving into the corner to try to get the most amount of bite. And I imagine as it goes on, they'll migrate back to the top again. I'm actually kind of surprised that they're not all trying that high side. With all the momentum we saw in the Truck Series, all the momentum in the Xfinity Series, and what a few people have been able to show tonight, they're on the bottom. Do the Cup cars really handle that much different around the high side here than the 2 lower series?
I mean, we've seen the high side become more active throughout the weekend, and here it's been used a few times, but it doesn't look as strong as we saw last night in the Xfinity Series. Not sure if it's the difference in setups and how these guys want to run this track, or what the idea is here, but now it seems like that high line has fizzled out a lot more, and this has really become a bottom groove race.
Yeah, bottom groove all the way around. Looks like the 16 of NNR Trip as well as the 38 of Fatless Dig. They are both parked early. Gonna guess that they lagged out or had some kind of an issue. Maybe just kind of threw in the towel, says, man, I'm not going to be able to do anything with these guys. No sense in running a 100% race. Although that's not what I want to see. It's not what, Trippy's, he's had fans in the chat earlier. Fatless Dig, of course, he's taken over for the American Ethanol Series as Alpha York has moved on over to the iRacing Series permanently. But you still want to get out there. Every bit of seat time completely helps. You don't just want to. Now again, if they didn't lag out, if they did lag out, it's out of their hands. They move on. Maybe they're out there in chat hanging out. Maybe they're running a public lobby. Maybe they're playing something else. Who knows? But I would hope that they didn't just up and quit.
And definitely that's something that you don't want to see in any competitive facet. But right here, Pete, we have a new leader. The Aviator has been able to get around Rose up front. And now right to the back bumper of Rose is knock, 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 Mr. Lucky Dog now sitting right there as well. So not sure if these guys made adjustments and Rose didn't or what happened, but Aviator was able to catch Rose, and now we have a 3-car battle, I'd say, for the lead.
Well, Aviator is not somebody that's easily rattled, but he's got a couple of very, very strong competitors right on his back bumper. And oh, by the way, P4 Stout Whiskey, he is not far off these guys either. If there is any little bit of a draft, he should have it very, very soon. Back there in P number 5, you see the 9 of More Smoke. So the top 5, pretty much your top 5 almost in points. CGMX Rose has a phenomenal point lead on the season overall. Stout Whiskey, I think, is sitting P2. The 9 of More Smoke not too far behind, but the 48 of the Aviator and the 13 of Lucky Dog, they got very, very late starts to the season. Originally, they were just going to be part-time, not contend. But then Aviator found out with his school schedule, he was still going to be able to race. And you see him out here a couple nights a week. So he's found his rhythm. He's figured out exactly what his schedule is and what it isn't, and where he can or where he can't race. You mostly see him here in NNR. You see him in American Ethanol, and I think you see him in it's not Midnight Racing League. What's that other one that starts really, really late like that?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Not RSR. I forget what it is right now, or it might actually be RSR. I don't know. But yeah, so he gets a lot of seat time in, and the equipment that he's got, it's no small hunk of junk either.
I mean, you hit it right on the nail with that as well. Just looking at the equipment has become a big part of not limiting these driver skills. They're amazingly talented, but the difference in equipment from controller to this Fanatec equipment to the higher quality wheels have really helped set a standard when it comes to league racing on the difference between these guys and how much a wheel can actually help you, especially at tracks that are technical like Iowa.
And Vols out there just corrected me in chat. It's SXRL. Yeah, so Sebi's Xbox Racing League. Couldn't remember it, but yeah, Vols, thank you very much. Appreciate the help, sir. Yeah, we just saw the 13 as well as the 42 migrate up to the high side. They switch positions, but they're still right back in the same spot they were. Everybody's still behind that 48, and just as I say that, here comes Lucky Dog. He's gonna take the bottom line, gonna try to force the 48 up to the high side. 48. He's got a great run all the way down the back. Down the front stretch, and able to retain that lead. So the 48 showing me and everybody else out there that he can still, you can still get these cars wound up on the high side when you've got it. So if they want to try to take the low side from him, he's got a car that's nimble enough to get up on the high side and really, really keep the momentum going.
And that's something we've talked about all weekend as well, that you have to be versatile with your car, be able to put it in places that you're not used to running, but you can run. And when I say that, I'm talking about like what you just mentioned, being able, hey, he's running the low side, that's his preferred lane. But I mean, he can go up there to the high side and make a run if he has to, especially if he gets moved up there. And that's what you need to be able to do, especially here at Iowa. You got to be able to do every little thing and have a mixed bag of tricks to be able to go up there and lead and possibly put yourself in a position to win.
Well, one guy that is still digging, riding along right now with that Worth Ford Mustang for the 2 is Stout Whiskey. He is still trying extremely hard to catch the back end of the 42 of Rose, and the 9 in that Universe Camaro still trying to run down Stout. There's a whole lot bigger of a gap between 4th and 5th than there is between 3rd and 4th. Stout now seeing a little bit of a breakup in the top 3. They're not running nose to tail. That's exactly what he needs to see, because when they're not running nose to tail, that means that they're not able to completely hit their marks. Somebody's going to have to let up in order for them to be able to get back single file, as you see them now ahead of the 2. But the 2 has definitely been able to make up some ground.
And him being able to do that, that just shows how good of a car that he has. Vols actually picked him out in chat tonight, so Vols may pick another winner this weekend. But it really helps him when these guys are battling up front. We've seen it for a few laps now, and he's been able to capitalize on it. Just real quick, Pete, can I get another invite? I got I don't know if it's the internet or the servers, but it got me out of the lobby.
Absolutely. Hopefully I can get you in here before or if I get kicked. I'm getting to you right now. There you go, sir.
Alrighty, thank you very much, man.
You're absolutely welcome. But yeah, I mean, there's again, I said the 38 Fatless Dig had lagged out. You see Trippy, and you also see I believe that's going to be Fort Smitty back there in that 8 car. He's also lagged out. So we started this race with about 21 cars on track, down about 18, and it looks like we've got one of our first takers on pit road. It's going to be the 27 of Captain, just now pulling into his pit stall. As soon as Boehner comes on back around, we'll go ahead and check in with him, see what he's got as far as laps left. Again, guys and gals, this is only stage number 2. They're running a 100% race with 36 laps left here. Lot of racing left to do, including the longest stage of them all, the final stage, stage 3, where we get to get to call a winner finally.
Yeah, and right now looking at Rose actually up here in the lead, talking about winners. He's our stage 1 winner, but he's having to hold off now as he moves back to the lead. That 48 of Aviator, and now Stout Whiskey has moved himself into the podium positions. He's now sitting 3rd, battling with the 27 of Captain, who's on 4 fresh, and having to make his way up through these leaders now to try to get a lap back, while these guys are trying to chase down the 4 to try to put him a lap down. So these guys battling it out. It's going to get hectic. I feel bad for the 27 of Captain because he's got fresh tires, and these guys are 2x2 in front of him.
Yeah, 48 down low, 42 CGMX Rose up high. Captain nowhere to go. Side by side. If that was for the stage right there, the 42 Credit 1 Camaro would have just taken that stage as well. But the 48 of the Aviator is in no way, shape, or form willing to give this up. 27 now looking up. That's not going to impede the 48. He's been down low anyway. 27's going to come up high. Big run off the corner for brand new Eagle Feelgood's going to make you feel like Superman for the first several laps. 27 made a little bit of contact with that outside wall, running it up there, and I no longer see the 2 with Stout Whiskey. I'm going to guess he's brought that deuce down pit road.
And he has. He's going to be another car bringing it down pit road in this cycle. More cars expected very, very soon as well. But still, the biggest story right now, and you're on camera with it, or you just were, I'd say, was how Lucky Dog fell off. I'm not sure if it was an adjustment that made him more of a short to middle run car, but now he's dropped off from what was that battle up there. He got passed by Stout before Stout decided to make his entry onto pit road. So a few more adjustments probably needed for that 13 machine, and definitely he's been a player tonight to be able to get up there and try to battle for the lead, but a few more adjustments and he could possibly be a real contender to win this one if he wasn't already.
Yeah, 42 CGMX Rose just now ducked down below the yellow line on the backstretch, indicating that he's pitting. Just saw the 13, the Lucky Dog, go flashing on by as Rose is just about to hit the commitment line. And yeah, excuse me. So that's going to completely shake up the running order quite a bit. In fact, that pushed Rose. I'm sorry, that put Jose 95 up to P4, Dan the Lawn Man in P5, Boehner to P6, Mike Honcho in P7, and Trippy Tricks in P number 8. We'll have to see how they all fare, including this guy right here, the 2 is Stout Whiskey. He came into pit road 1 or 2, maybe 3 laps before the 42. He's obviously out there way before the 13 has taken his tires. Stout might actually get the jump on these guys that he needed in order to get ahead of them. He was right there on their tail before he went down pit road, and look at that. He's passing the 42 of CGMX Rose even before he gets up to speed. I think we might be looking at a new leader when it's all said and done and everything comes back around after this round of green flag pit stops is done. Boehner right now running P2, yet to go down pit road. Dan the Lawn Man, Mike Honcho, and Trippy Tricks right now rounding out the top 5. So Stout, he's going to have this thing up in P1. You see the 48, the Aviator P2. Boehner back there just a little bit. So was the 9 and the 95. So Stout was able to utilize that fresh rubber.
And that's going to be a big thing to look out for. We saw it several times in which guys were able to gain a lot of time by short pitting, and now we're seeing it here with Stout Whiskey, and he has a hard charging challenger. Rose in the wall a little bit, but a hard charging challenger from that 42 right there that is trying to find any way to get around this 2 of stout whiskey. And, you know, I see it out in chat with a little over 20 laps to go, Pete. One thing that we have to mention, we saw the commercial earlier, but NNRleague.com, the place where you can go check out everything about NNR as far as the preset league, the new iRacing series coming up. You can check point standings. You can look at the schedule, look at past winners. So much information there on that site. And Pete, you want to know what's my favorite? The Zazzle tab. You got a whole selection of awesome NNR products as far as the fastest coffee mugs around. Great articles of clothing as far as t-shirts, sweatshirts, all those type of things. I believe you can get stickers as well. But you want to know what my ultimate favorite is?
I'm going to guess it's probably a towel with a whole bunch of blue stuff on it.
It is. It is the Vols Fan iRacing towel. And you can go there on the Zazzle tab on NNRleague.com and you can buy all of it. It's definitely going to be worth it. A lot of great products there.
Absolutely. Great job on that, by the way. Not too bad at all. You're getting better and better talking about NNR, NNRleague.com, everything that you can get there, which I actually just got. My coffee mug and two of my shirts. Ordered one for me and ordered one for my wife. She puts up with me being up here sometimes 7 nights a week. I got to do something for her as well. And I got off work, ran a quick iRace at Las Vegas, went downstairs, and she was using a new coffee mug and a cup of coffee she had just heated up in the microwave. So that was pretty cool to see. But man, still out here on track. The 2-car stout whiskey is still your leader. The 42, even though he's on a lap or two fresher tire, hasn't been able to get around. 48 has not been able to catch up. Neither has the 13 of Lucky Dog. Lucky's still sitting way in the back. 2-car stout whiskey, Vols his pick. If he can hold on for just, I would say, maybe 15 to 20 more laps and keep Rose behind him, he might just be able to lock up stage 2. We'll have to see. As Boehner comes off of turn number 4 and gets to the start stripe, looks like we have exactly, the laps flashed up and went away too quickly. Oh, well, we'll get them next time around.
Well, right here with the, you said we'll get it next time around, where the laps are ticking down. And you know what else is ticking down? Stout's gap right now. I mean, he extends it a little bit on the straightaway, but it collapses back down into the corner. And Rose has put so much pressure on that deuce right there in P number 1 that, I mean, these guys are just battling it out. But these guys got to be careful. They really have to be careful because you have 2 guys behind them that can really close in. We're looking at the 13 of Lucky Dog and the 48 of Aviator behind them in P3 and 4. And this battle could get a lot more interesting before stage 2 comes to a close.
Yeah, there goes the 42. He went up on the high side. You saw him really go high, wide, and handsome up the last corner. Well, here comes Stout Whiskey. He's going to try the same thing. He's not going to get the same result on that set of turns, but here he goes, diving it in, up high, 42 CDMX Rose, down low, Stout back in the throttle very early. Can he get the same run? Nope. That might just be the difference between the lap, the couple lap difference in tires that CJMX Rose has versus what Stout has. So that might have just sealed the deal. Or Stout Whiskey, he's a cool character. He might just be saying, you know what, Rose, you go ahead and pass me. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to cool off my tires a little bit after dealing with you right on my bumper for 50 laps. And I'll see what I can do with you in the closing laps as we've got just about 15 to go.
And right now, these guys are going to be able to catch up to some lap traffic that might hold up Rose a little bit. When it comes to the tire situation, like you mentioned, I mean, it might be a smart idea for Stout to say, all right, you put the pressure on me. You kind of used up quite a bit of your stuff trying to put all that pressure on me. I'm going to let you go up there. I'm going to sit back, conserve like you said, and I'll let you try to go up there and pass those lap cars. And if you have anything, a mistake, get held up a little bit by them, that's when I'll catch you and I'll be right there to strike. So that's something to keep an eye on as we go down the stretch. But Stout right now it looks like he's losing more and more time to him. So his focus right now, you have to manage that gap. You got to be able to keep close to him. I say with the biggest gap he can have to him is probably about 5 to 6 tenths, if that.
Yeah, it's not much. It can't be much at all, is what I should say. Everybody out there in chat getting into the game. You said hashtag we want towels. Balls, hashtag we want towels. Bama, hashtag we want towels. Rock NASCAR, hashtag we want towels. Then Ellie goes, wait, you have towels? So, I tell you what, when this is all said and done, we'll take a quick trip over to NNRleague.com. Take a look at the Zazzle tab, and I'll show you all the new merch that Coey has been able to come up with. All right, I promise you. Ellie, yeah, there are definitely towels. In fact, I think I saw a picture of you either in Discord or in Twitch holding up your Vols Vols Fan 88 towel for the iRacing series that's going to kick off here very, very soon. And then Cape says Rock has the softest, most reliable pillows on the market. And I could just imagine Rock NASCAR in his head thinking smart. Yeah, as he always does.
But it's about to say, you just give me 5 minutes and we already have 2 hashtags in chat. A lot of fun here in the community. You gotta love it.
Absolutely. Hashtag we want pillows. There you go. Mike Honcho in his 53. He's got the 36 of Boehner down on the bottom side. Boehner going to come up, maybe try a little bit of a side draft. Not quite able to get there. Again, the high side momentum is really, there it is. Smart butt in capital letters. I appreciate you, Rock. But let's keep on going through the field. 47 of Augustus. It looks like the 4 Natty Dread. Yeah, he's not moving around either. He must have lagged out as well, as we just about hit that 10 o'clock hour. Very, very unfortunate for that Mobile One Ford Mustang.
And this has been a problem for a lot of guys all season, and it comes down to luck. I mean, it's pure luck at this point. Can you avoid the bumps? You can avoid wrecks on track. You can avoid incidents on track. You can avoid making mistakes. But what is one thing that a lot of guys have had trouble avoiding in the entire NASCAR heat community? The infamous bump.
Yeah, that bump that usually hits right about 10 o'clock. But if, I know that Natty was having some internet issues not too long ago. Fort Smitty, I believe he might have been having a problem. Not 100% sure. But Fatless Dig, we unfortunately see him on pit road kind of often as well. So everybody came down and pit with less than 40 to go, as the 47 really held up the 42 right there. Don't think it was enough for Stout Whiskey to get back to his bumper. Boehner right now is just now coming off turn 2, going down the backstretch. I'll get a lap count next time by, but we're definitely seeing more cars able to keep up with this 42 in stage 1 than we did in stage 2. I'm sorry, in stage 2 than we did in stage 1.
And that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on right here, as Rose coming across the stripe. Not sure if it would be 3 to go, or you called it as he was crossing the stripe 4 to go, but I mean, the lap traffic has posed an issue, and of course, guys making adjustments has been more difficult for him, as he gets held up by the 34 right there. As we cross the stripe, once again, we're going to see this time by. I believe they may be on 2 to go now.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep up with this battle right now between the 13, the 48, and the 2 with Stout Whiskey. This is really where it's at. I mean, the 42, he's been able to go on and really pull away. Nowhere near the amount that he was able to, again, in stage 1. But this is really where the battle's at. Looks like 13, a Lucky Dog. He's going to be pretty solid in P2. 48, the Aviator, in P3. And Stout Whiskey back in P4. But that does not say anything at all about the progress that 2 has made here in the second stage. Hell of a run by him. It's going to be pretty fair on him into points, and that is going to wrap up stage 2.
And, you pick on me about it all the time, but here comes I'm going to call it the crew chief cap. You got to make the pick now, and if I'm making a pick, it's going to be going in chat right now. It's got to be our stage 1 and 2 winner of CGMX Rose.
I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick second here. Before I do that, I'm going to switch gears, literally. All right, so everybody out there, this is NNRleague.com. All right, I went down, scrolled to the Zazzle tab, and this is everything that is brand new by NNR. You see the license plate, you see the bumper sticker magnet, you see the regular stickers, you see the iron-on patch, you see the mask. I'm always talking about wear your mask, stay away from the big crowds and all that. You got the koozies, you got the Vols towels, you got T-shirts, all kinds of stuff to go on out there and rep NNR, and we absolutely appreciate it. Let's get back to this race as we're stacked back up.
And right here, Rose is going to be at the point once again, but he's surrounded by all these competitors that have given him a hard time already so far this race when they've been able to get to him. He's going to try to clear up in front of that 13. He's not going to be able to do it. The 13 of Lucky Dog looking to the outside here. Going to try to see if he can build up a run. Rose throws it deep into the corner. Lucky does not get the run he was hoping for, but is able to clear into P2, and he's going to take the bottom lane from that 42 of Rose. He's going to dive it in below him, and now Rose is going to have to pinch him down and hopefully get a run off the corner. It's not going to happen, though. Right there, Lucky Dog to the inside. He's going to take that line away. Now 3 wide for the lead as Aviator tries to put his nose in there. That's going to allow the 13 to clear here. Not sure. No, he's going to allow the 42 back to the outside. And Pete, we are side by side for a few rows deep.
Yeah, side by side, 42 CGMX Rose. He's got P2 kind of locked up. Little bit of instability, a little bit of lag in the lobby. 42-48, the 22 of J-Pot, and I believe that's going to be the 21 of my Silent Hunter, Old Parsville, sitting out there about P6. Great race for him. And but hey, look at that new third place driver. It's going to be the 9 of Amore Smoke, the 2-car Stout Whiskey. See him. So we got all of the usual suspects right back up here. 48 the Aviator, he's going to go high. That's going to allow the 2 of Stout Whiskey. Again, a little bit of instability in the lobby. Hopefully we can hang on to it. Hey, Expert, guess what time it is?
It unfortunately is time for the bump, but go ahead. I think you have something up your sleeve right here.
No, I was being dead serious. It is 10:02. The bump hit right on target. Hopefully I don't cycle back through these guys and we see another car or two on pit road. So the 10 o'clock bump, as you just saw, it is not something that we made up. It rocks the lobbies every single night, unfortunately. But man, it is what it is. I was looking at the NNRleague.com site with everybody else. Forgot to put up the final stage sticker. There we go. The green and white, or green and yellow, is in the air. 13, 42, 48, 22. The 2, the 9. Man, a lot of fast cars up at the front.
And I mean, we've mentioned this, how competitive these guys can be throughout the night. And it's only going to get even more competitive as we continue on. I feel bad. I feel like I gave Rose a little bit of the commentator's curse by picking him at the end of stage 2. These are the first laps, like the first major group of laps that he's not going to be leading. Of course, the Aviator was able to get up there, but Lucky looks like he may be able to have the car to pull away. He could have been hiding something for this third stage, but Rose holding on to him. And of course, you have your pick. And that 9 of Armor Smoke behind. Oh, I can already see what you're talking about. The bump is already affecting the lobby.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. Yo, do me a favor. Go ahead and take this for 1 second. I will be right back.
All right. Well, going to be on board. Of course, you can see on Pete's stream with the Aviator as we cycle around track. He currently sits in P number 4. Of course, he has led a few laps already this race, and now looking to try to go up there and try to get back into the top 3. The battle for the lead has heated up as the 42 is able to get underneath the 13 of Lucky Dog and be able to clear him. Rose back to the point here. Armor Smoke able to catch up in that 9 car. He's going to be to the back bumper of Lucky Dog here. These guys all on a line trying to see what they can learn. Usually we don't see the action we saw on stage 1 and 2 come until probably stage 3. Now these guys are trying to learn, okay, it's crunch time. How can I make my line better? And right now I think that 9 has seen something, as he's going to get a push from the 48 to try to look to clear that 13. But these guys cannot stay side by side for long. You cannot star yourself out and give that 42 a chance to pull away and clean air. 48 now going to look to the inside of the 13, and he's going to have more guys behind him, as here comes the 2 of Stout Whiskey. He's going to try to capitalize on that failed pass attempt by the 48, but the 48 is going to be able to clear him into the corner. 13 looking back low on the 9, but he's going to push him down the back straightaway. Let's see if he makes a move on corner entry. He's going to back off a little bit more. Let's see if he gets a run off the corner. He is. He's going to look to the bottom here now, 2 by 2 for P2 and P4 here. And it's already getting a little bit exciting up here in the top 5, and this is probably the best thing that the 42 of CGMX Rose has seen all night compared to what he saw on stage number 1. Now it's stage 3. If he can pull away, he has a good chance to pull away with the win as well.
Absolutely. Great job, man. Thank you very much. I had to shed that sweatshirt I had on. I'm sitting here sweltering. Probably not as hot as these guys are in the car, with the great competition and side-by-side battles, really having to concentrate, holding their line. If they do get down to somebody pinch them on, closer and closer to the yellow line, just as you saw the 2 cars, Stout Whiskey go over that line with his left side's got a little loose right there, but able to hold on to it. Great example of the wheelman known as Stout Whiskey. Back to P number 5, and as you said, that 42 starting to pull away just a little bit more.
And I mean, them getting side by side and battling behind them, like I just mentioned a few seconds ago, that was probably the best thing he could have possibly seen. He could possibly pull away with this win now, as he's already gotten into the clean air. He's broken any type of the ability to be in his tire tracks. He's broken the ability to be in the draft or put any pressure on him at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see if these guys can eat into that time, either by helping each other or possibly in forms of strategy. We definitely saw that last night. I'm looking straight at KFB when I say that.
No doubt. Rock NASCAR out there saying very busy night for racing. And as I look through, I got to admit, I mean, I see Rick James out there. I see King Outbreak out there. I see James Holzer out there. I see Cinepuse out there. I see a lot of guys that run in and around NNR. And I know Rocky's got his little command center all set up. I mean, I think at one point there was a night not too long ago, he had to try to keep up with 10 different leagues. Rock does the best that he possibly can. And yeah, what a job that is. I mean, he goes out there, he wishes everybody a great race, he keeps up with them the best that he possibly can. Not to mention posts on Facebook talking about the leagues, talking about the winner, congratulating. He does one hell of a job. Snag, what's up, buddy? Oh, by the way, all right, guys and gals, if you're on iRacing, I'm going to put some information out there very, very soon. Or just go on over and hit Snaggles83. Give him a follow. I just asked him to put together 2 iRacing Chevy Silverado paint schemes for me on that platform. The man is meticulous in his work, does a phenomenal job. You can't go wrong. Get a hold of Snags. Man, I promise you're going to like the overall product. Amazing. Thanks again, Snag. But yeah, keeping on going through. 42 of CJMX Rose, he's still P1. Lucky Dog P2. looks like more smoke in P3. 2-car charging hard underneath the 48 at the line right there. That's going to relegate the 48 back, but nope, 2 had to check up for a more smoke checking up. 48 should have a run to the outside. They're still side by side for P5.
And they got to be able to get that situated pretty quick, or they're going to lose these top 3 as well. That's something that these guys cannot afford to do right now. Of course, you can see how much time that cost them to Amore already, and they're going to have to make that up as well. They're already starting to eat into it, but this is something these guys cannot be battling with each other. You can see the gaps between the 42 and the 13 to the 9, and the one that was building between the 9 and the 48. That was just 1 lap's worth. Just imagine if they stay side by side for 2, 3, 4, 5 laps. That gap could have been pretty much insurmountable. I hate to use that word,
You're right.
but we've seen how much clean air could definitely help somebody pull away.
Yeah, absolutely. If these guys back here behind the 42 know what's good for them, although you see the 13 starting to make a little bit of ground up, and as he does that, the 9, he's going to stay right in his tire track. So is the 48, so is the 2 of Stout Whiskey. They're going to see if the 13 can maybe help pull them back up to that 42. Again, 13 and the 42, they're on the same exact equipment from their Pro League Season 2 days. So they've got that great Fanatec equipment. They know how to dial it in. Lucky Dog has won a couple of races this season so far. Nobody's got more wins than the 42, but maybe somebody can notch one more hole in their buckle tonight, and cut Rose down 1 peg.
And that's the one person that's rivaled him as far as wins is Lucky Dog. Right now I'm looking at it. Rose has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 wins. Lucky Dog with him at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as well. So they're both tied. So this is a tie-breaking race right here.
Yeah, it really is. The overall points though, Rose right. I don't think there's really anybody that can catch Rose in points. When I had the sight up earlier, I could have taken a quick second, but only had about 30 to 40 seconds to do so. There is a huge gap from first back to P2. Unless I missed something about what you said with the tiebreaker, trying to keep up with this great battle between the 48, the 9, and the 2 right now.
Oh no, Rose is definitely ahead when it comes to overall season points, about 120 points over second place, but I was just talking about wins this season, as both of them have 6 wins apiece.
Oh, okay, yeah, gotcha. All right, yeah. Now looks like the 13 of Lucky, he's starting to be able to pull away from the 48 now just a little bit. The 9 of Amore Smoke, he's been relegated 2 spots back to P number 5. Chevy or NNR Monster, yeah, race has been pretty good so far. It's been all caution free. Hopefully I don't jinx that. We did have a couple of pretty big bumps in the lobbies. Cars were shaking up just a little bit. We got about 2 or 3 cars that are out of the race, but they were out before the bump. CJMX Rose took stages 1 and 2, although Stout Whiskey showed a lot of promise in stage number 2. Here in stage number 3, we're just slightly over 100 laps to go, Expert.
And just slightly over 100 laps to go. It's going to come down to a lot of strategy. We haven't seen cautions tonight besides, of course, the stage break. So these green flag runs and how you get on and off pit road are going to mean a lot. You look at the gap between the 13 and the 42, and you're probably thinking, if you haven't seen the races this past weekend, that's too much of a gap when it comes to these strategy races. He's too far in clean air. He's gone. But mark it up for the 42, in which I'll be happy if that happens because that's my pick. But I'm not going to sleep on that 13, especially with what we've seen guys like KFB, King Mathers, and several guys. I'm going to throw out the strategy that Spoiled Milk and NNR Bowling pulled out in the Truck Series as well. Strategy is too important here, and we saw how much even a pit entry can gain you on pit road last night.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about getting onto pit road, 36 of Boehner. He just brought that Select Blinds Ford Fusion. I'm sorry, yeah, Ford Fusion. Talking about taking it back a little bit. Ford Mustang down pit road. He's going to go ahead and fill it up. So 40 laps in the tank. There's 104 to go right now. So he'll have to pit again about lap 60, 64, depending on what the deal is with the tires. When he just came down pit road, didn't see any issue. But then again, he wasn't on that map. I don't know if these guys are pitting before they're running out of fuel because of the right front or right rear, or what the issue is. Snag, last time by, is just about 100 laps left.
One thing I'm going to say, though, and it's been my favorite word this weekend, if these guys can stretch it out, you know what my favorite word is for Iowa? Fuel it's 2 words, but fuel conservation.
Yep. Chevy, thank you very much for those bits out there, sir. Definitely appreciate you, man.
Oh, a little bit of contact, it looks like, between the 34 and the 18. Not sure if that was lag, intentional contact, or what that was, but it looked like a little bit of bumping between the 18 and 34. 18's got a little bit of damage, though, so not sure if it was caused by that or what happened, but already a little bit of short track bumping going on here in stage number 3.
Woo, just as you see, the 18 completely crossed the nose of the 53, made the 53 either get on the brake hard or what, I'm not 100% sure, but Rowdy came completely from the high side, ducked down into pit road, and I don't know if anything just happened there with Mike Honcho, but man, that was close.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I thought it was gone over in the driver's meeting. That could possibly be a penalty. Don't quote me on that, though, but I thought it was in the rules that you had to go down before turn 3. Once again, do not quote me on that. Of course, we'll see what the officials decide on that, but right now you can see the 48. He's going to be coming out of pit road. He pitted 1 lap earlier than the 42, so it's going to be interesting to see how this strategy works out for him and how much time he can gain on that 42.
Well, I know Coey, he was out there in chat earlier. He just saw the same thing we saw. He'll have to make that determination or go on back and check it out. When that came to be, let's see, as Boehner and Stout come across the line, it was right about lap 99. So they'll have to go back and look at it. But Stout Whiskey right now riding on board with him. He's sitting in P number 8 with green flag pit stops well underway. At least half the field's already gone down pit road.
And right here, it doesn't look like it, but there really wasn't that much time lost or gained between the top 2 of Rose and Lucky Dog in that gap for P number 1. So both of these guys, that shows just the consistency on getting on and off pit road for these guys to be able to manage that gap and keep it together. What Lucky is hoping is that as the run goes on, he catches more lap traffic and he starts to get held up. That could be Lucky's best possible scenario for him to possibly go up there and catch that 42.
Absolutely. Good little battle right now between the 21 of Parzival and the 22 of J-Pa. Parzival in that Motorcraft 421 old Wood Brothers special, and of course that Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang for J-Pa now up on the high line. Actually, he's running the Auto Club scheme this week, and in the distance you just saw the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man bring that Haas Automation Mustang off of pit road. So they come out with 40 laps to go. Right now, there's 94 remaining. That means everybody's going to have to pit at least 2 more times. I'm sorry, 1 more time. And what they'll have... no, they will have to pit 2 more times because I don't think anybody can save 14 laps.
I mean, no, I'm not going to say that. But you're definitely right. These guys are going to have to pit at least 2 more times. Now the strategy is going to go back to two tires, 4 tires. How much fuel can I go with with this stop, how much fuel is it going to take me to go to the end? So the door is wide open on so many different strategies right now. The idea for these guys is, can I manage a gap to the person behind me? Because, of course, you want to pull a strategy to gain you positions, not lose you positions. That's one thing that these drivers got to keep in mind, is that you don't want to get too greedy. Yeah, it's nice to go up there, try to compete for a win or try to get those extra few spots. But you got to make sure you got a bunch of time left in this race. Do not lose focus by getting greedy for more position.
No, you can't. You really have to maintain as much track position as you can, maintain the speed. Move the car around, find out whichever line works best for you. Now, it's not like iRacing where it'll tell you was your last lap faster than this lap? Are you on a faster lap than you were the last lap? It doesn't have that kind of technology built into this game. It's not that kind of a sim, but they can still see their actual lap times, but they don't see it as they're going around the track. So if they can experiment with the lines, they might be able to find something that works. While we've seen the high side really carry a lot of momentum, they can absolutely carry it up there. But is the high side constantly a bad thing on the right front or on the right rear? Because when you're outside by that wall, you're having to use the tires just a little bit more in order to carry that momentum off. You're just off the throttle for a little while and then back on it again and trying to carry that straightaway speed. So there's a few different ways to do this. Just as we watched the 47 of Augustus make some contact with the turn 4 wall, going down into turn 1, he's got that 47 Kroger Camaro looking pretty good. No real damage, even though he just made a little bit of contact.
Yeah, and I think he was trying to dodge the 42 right here, is making an impressive time on extending the gap to the 13 and also trying to put guys a lap down. But you brought up the difference in lines and what it can do to your car. Something I noticed, though, throughout the race is that we've seen it work a few times, but not that much. I think that the high side may not wear as much as we've seen in the past 2 nights, because you don't gain as much off the high side. Usually they say the more you gain, the more you're wearing. But right now it looks like that high side might not be a bad idea if you can get it working.
Yeah, that's just it. You have to have your car set up, loosen up, either with some right rear air pressure or some wedge to be able to really motivate around that high side. Like we just saw Boehner go on up towards the wall to carry that momentum. He's all over the back end. Let's see if I can find out exactly who that was. I think, yeah, it was going to be the 22 of J-Pot. Thought I recognized the blue. So Boehner in that Select Blinds Ford Mustang all over the back end of his 22. And oh, by the way, the 22 still has the 21 of Parzival right in his sights. But it looks like Parzival might have just a little bit better of a long-run car.
And right now, J-Paw, I'm not sure if it's for a position. Actually, it is. He has Boehner, who has been battling technical difficulties all night, sitting right there in P number 8, trying to pass J-Paw for P7. He's put the pressure on him a good bit, all over the back bumper of that double deuce right there. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can put together a few laps to try to get back to the bumper here, as he's lost a little bit of time, and try to see if he can move into P number 7.
Absolutely. Now under 100 laps to go as Stout Whiskey comes across the line. 82 laps remaining. So 82 to go. The 42 of CGMX Rose still in the lead. And as we ride on with as I look at the deuce of Stout, he's got he's about a quarter of the track behind the 42. So the 42 is he's set sail one more time, just like in stage 1, but first through fourth is not as big as a gap as it was in stage 1.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And when it comes down to it, this is a point of the race in which now 80 laps to go. You're going to be closing into where I would not be surprised to see another pit road cycle open up within the next, I'd say about, I'd say, of course, we got to be able to keep in mind these guys have 40 laps on fuel. Not sure how Boehner's looking on fuel right now. Of course, he pitted a little bit earlier than everybody else. But for these leaders, the question is that this fuel run has got to be able to extend. We know they're carrying 40 laps on the tank right here. We know they're going to have to pit at least 2 more times. The question is, when is that pit road going to be opening up? We know they're not necessarily going to be able to make it. In my opinion, they're not going to be able to make it to lap 40, of course, to make it on that one more stop. So the question is, between now and lap 40, when is going to be that lap in which the pit cycle starts to open up?
Well, we'll have to see it. 53 and Mike Honcho is on pit road right now. I caught up with him just as he entered the pit road, just as he passed the commitment cone. So will others go on down and follow him, or will they wait just a little bit longer? It looks like old J-Pot and the 36 have settled their differences. Looking ahead right now from the 95 of Jose. He's got the 41. There is the 22 on the bottom. 41 right in front of him. That's going to be Dan the Lawn Man. But the 36 of Boehner has been able to finally move ahead of the Double Deuce of Stout Whiskey. And they're all nose to tail coming off the corner right now as Boehner crosses the stripe. Let's see, 76 laps to go. So I think Mike Honcho might be thinking he just split this right in half. He's going to come out. He's going to have some pretty good tires. I'm pretty sure Mike Honcho is a lap down, but it might help him if a caution was to come out. Not quite sure where he is in the running order, but hey, there's been 4 or 5 cars that have lagged out. You never know what position he may or may not have left.
And you're completely correct with that. And looking at all these guys that, right now strategy is going to become a big issue. Timing with all of these drivers, trying to make up time. Of course, the 42 has pretty much, he's opened the sails up on his ship. He's trying to sail out of here. But, we still have a long way to go, just now inside 80 laps. And right now, this is the pit cycle to where if you pit now, fill it up on fuel, you're in the cycle to be able to make it on only one more stop. Because you can split it in half if you want to. You want to extend it a little past halfway. I expect these guys to try to run it out as much as they can. And on that final pit stop, try to put as much fuel as it is to make it. Not really fill it up, but put as much fuel as you can in there just to make it, so that car's a little bit lighter and you get a lot more speed in that final run.
Yeah, absolutely. That could really be the only reason I would think of that these guys would still stay out on track and not come on down, try to gain that extra speed on those newer tires. If they were to come down right where it splits, you got 80 laps, you come in, you have to pit again at lap 40, and you're good to go till the end. Does the caution come out and throw a wrench in all your thinking? You have to readjust or reanalyze everything that you've got to do. 71 laps now to go. So what you just said, it comes into play perfectly. They're all going to have the better tires longer when they come on down. They still have to make that one pit stop. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But they'll be able to come on down. If there was an issue, which I haven't seen in anybody's menus on the long run, if they can hold this out just a little bit longer, their tires will be better longer for that final push towards the checkers.
Right now, looking back throughout the field, the 18 of NNR Rowdy, he's going to lead himself down pit road. Looking to see more and more guys might start coming down. Of course, just the 18 is what we've saw so far, but expect more guys to come in the upcoming laps. Guys, certainly, once they start seeing more guys coming down, they may come down. The 12 now coming down as soon as I say that. He's going to be making his entrance into pit road. The 36 now, in the 36 of Boehner now has the 34 of Trippy Tricks all over his back bumper. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. But right now, Boehner is holding on to P10. I don't believe this is for position. I believe Trippy may be a lap down, so he's going to go ahead and get around him But this is going to go ahead and start setting up the pit cycle. We've been talking about it for a few laps, and the difference of strategies is already shown. We've seen Mike Concho, as soon as we hit that point to where you could make it on one more stop, he came in. Now a little bit later, here comes the 18 and the 12. Now a little bit later, we're going to see a lot more guys start coming down later and later into this run to see how much they can possibly take on that, or how less they can take on that last stop. They don't want to take they don't want to take everything as far as fuel and tires. I can guarantee you that on that last stop.
Now, we were wondering what, we were riding along, or you were talking about Boehner. He actually just went down pit road, but we saw the 34 at Trippy actually come on up and give him a little bit of a love tap to the back bumper. It's kind of curious why he did that. Was Boehner off the gas? Was he sputtering or what? I don't know. But Trippy definitely gave him a little bit of a tap to the back bumper. Might have ruffled those blinds just a little bit. We'll have to see. Now, Boehner was in the top 10 when he just brought that Mustang down pit road. We'll have to see if that opens the door for the top 10 cars. As you see Boehner come into the fold right there, he's coming out and going to try to merge into traffic right about the time the 21 of Parzival went whipping on by. Now inside the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man, 34 of Trippy right there. So Boehner didn't lose any time, but funny enough, the 34 didn't lose a whole lot of time either, and he's still out there on track.
And the battles are going to start heating up more and more as we continue on here throughout the race. It's starting to go into crunch time, and as soon as I talk about crunch time, the 9 is in pit road. The 48 now going down to take his stop. The 2 is going to be coming out of pit road. A lot of these top guys coming out. Now the 9's going to be exiting. So the look for a lot of these guys is, when is that 42 going to come in? He's still out on track, I do believe. Right now I'm looking at Boehner Stream. It kind of froze up on me. But that 42 is going to be the guy that's going to be like, hey, we need to keep tabs on him and what he's doing, especially down this final stretch.
Yeah, 42, he's just been bad fast. Yeah, Balls, I know music's still going, a little bit of something in the background, but you know what? No, I'll go ahead and I'll kill that. Hopefully it doesn't interrupt the sound of the engine right here at Iowa. These guys definitely got them pegged. Still riding along right now with the 18 of Rowdy. Really haven't shown this guy a whole lot of love tonight. The damage on the front end of this car is actually really bad. I know that there is one paint scheme out there where the rear end is completely totaled, but I know that that's not it. So at some point during the race, looks like the 18 either got into a wall, maybe on a restart, got into the back end of somebody, or who knows, on one of these long runs, maybe he, hit the inside wall under brake trying to woe it up to bring it down pit road. Not quite sure, but a whole lot of damage to this Skittles Camry.
Speaking about woeing it up and bringing it down pit road, that 42 of CGMX Rose, followed by the 13 of Lucky Dog, both making their way down pit road under this green flag cycle.
Yep, but you see, definitely see the 42. 42 actually looks like he might have a little bit of damage to the right front. I do recall a while back he kind of scraped the outside just a little bit. Don't know how much it's hurt him, obviously, and not with the tear that he's been on. But I would imagine the 48, the 9, and the 2 are not going to be far to come on down pit road if they haven't already, and we just missed them.
And now as they exit, it's going to be interesting to see. The 48 pitted laps before them, so it's going to be interesting to see if he even gains any sort of time on them, or if Lucky, as far as his pit entry, gains time. Right now it looks like they're going to exit in the same intervals, but right now that 42 is going to be stuck behind some lap traffic off the get-go.
Yeah, the first one going to be the, looks like the 13, up trying to catch back up. I just had the 42 just a moment ago. There you go. So he's able to get by one car. Now I believe he's got the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man right in his sights. Dan is just now getting to the start stripe, and oh, by the way, here's the 42. So it's not a very big gap, but 42 on those fresh tires. He's gonna pick him up, lay him down, and he's gonna pass a few more people. with 56 laps to go. Everybody's got to pit one more time. Now, Expert, what do you think? As Rose gives a little bit of a love tap to the 41, saying, hey, man, that's my line. If I was Dan, I would have definitely come on back down, shown a little bit of displeasure, maybe give him a little bit of a door rub, because with the new tires that the 42 has, he could have very easily just gone to the high side, seeing that Dan was a bit slower.
I mean, that's possibly an option. It's just all about racers etiquette. What one driver thinks is courteous might not be too courteous in the other driver's mind. So, of course, going forward, though, we are just, I think you mentioned about 55 laps now, 54 laps to go now?
Yeah.
So right now, for some of these guys, that pit cycle, once we hit lap 40, is going to be, all right, the door's wide open, go ahead and make your final stop. But that pit cycle has opened up all the way through, I'd say about lap 20 is when we could probably see the last of the pit stops. Heck, that could even enter into the teens depending on how long these guys can hold on to their stuff for. So a lot of different strategies are playing out right now, and it's going to be interesting to see. Right now it looks like Rose, being at the point in the clean air, has taken advantage of it, though.
Yeah, working my way back up to the leader right now. Looks like it's going to be the 95 of Jose. He has yet to pit. So is Jose really backing up his time? He's got the two of Stout Whiskey and the 12 of Knights right in front of him, but Stout Whiskey is showing in P number 5, so he just got his lap back. That means everybody up to 5th is now one lap down, riding on board with the 95. He's going to go ahead and bring that Ream Camaro down pit road. Or I'm sorry, that Ream Toyota, down pit road and get his service. Let's see. Now going to be, what do we got here? We got 50 laps to go. Expert, do you think anybody could save 10 laps?
What's my favorite 2 words, Pete?
I tell you,
I mean,
the 95
I think
stayed
it's
out
an option.
longer than anybody else did right there.
I think it's an option. We talked about it a few nights ago with Mr. Vols fan. That, I mean, we've both been able to play that game before, and I mean, 10 laps is certainly in the window here at Iowa. The most I've seen somebody be able to save at this track has been around 16 or 17 laps. Of course, that was on Heat 4, and it's different. The fuel strategy is a little bit different when it comes to Heat 5, but I think it's definitely a opportunity that we might be able to see here, especially depending on where he comes out in relation to the leader. We know those guys are going to have to go in one more time. And the one thing that's always on my mind when it comes to strategy, being out on track is always faster than being on pit road.
Yeah, you think if he can stay out just a little bit longer, lap the 42. By the way, the 42 is retaking the lead and put the 2 of Stout Whiskey back to P4. So I just mentioned that everybody from P5 on back was a lap down. So we've already broken the lap down number that I thought earlier in the race. It's just amazing with the pace that we've had throughout the night between the 13, the 2, the 42. I think the 9's led a lap. I know the 48's led a few laps. So these guys all setting the pace that they're setting. Man, there's gonna 100% race to shut down this track to where we could possibly never be here tonight. Just like we've come to a few times. We went to Kentucky. We went to Auto Club, talking about the reconfigure of that place. Every time we've got to a different track that's not going to be on next year's schedule because of either changing or just being removed from the overall schedule, somebody's going to have massive bragging rights. And right now, I think it's really it might be a little up in the air, but I think that 42 might have it on lock. But man, fuel mileage, it's come into play so many times before.
And right now, I'm listening to the engine tune of that 95, and the amount he is backing up his corners is insane. He starts letting off almost not more than a second after he crosses the starting stripe. It's certainly not a regular corner entry where he's putting the throttle down. He's coming into the throttle late as well. I've pretty much just seen Stout Whiskey pull away from him, and Jose is even on fresh tires, so that lets you know, like, he's on about 15 to 20 lap fresher tires, so that lets you know how much he is backing off. I mean, the possibility is there.
Well, he's got that Fanatec equipment. He's got the wheel. He's got the shifter. He's got the know-how. And Jose 95, he took over the Pro League ride when HD Motorsports stepped aside, said he wasn't going to run for season number 2. And this Jose is actually one of HD's favorite drivers on Heat. He calls him probably the cleanest guy to race against on Heat 4, Heat 5, and what have you. He's also over on the iRacing side. He's stepped up in onto that platform as well. I think Jose might be a player when this is all said and done, if he can save it, and if he's running these laps like we're watching right now, and we've been watching for the last couple of circuits. He's saving those tires big time to maybe mount one charge, or if he does have to pit, just grab rights, a dash of gas, and hit the track one more time. But I think he's really going to try to stretch it, just like you. 39 laps to go.
And now we're in the fuel rendo in which everybody can make it. I think we've already seen, I think Mike Concho might have just gone down. In fact, he did. That 53 now going down pit road to get his service here. And this is going to start once again. We're now in the, I think Jose, I'll go ahead and show him the support. He's going to be the first guy to lead us on these final pit stops. I think Mike Concho is going to be the second guy right here. He's going to lead the rest of the guys down as the green flag cycle is going to continue for the last time.
Yeah, Mike Concho, he pit right at lap 80, and I said he was splitting it right down the middle. So lap 40 makes sense that he's brought that 53 down pit road for his last service. So he's going to be on whatever tire he's on for the rest, unless that caution should come out. Riding along right now with the 13 of Lucky Dog. He's sitting in P number 2. Aviator in that 48 P3. Stout Whiskey in P4. A More Smoke in the 9 P5. And oh, by the way, that 21 having a great night, sitting in P6 for Old Parsable.
And that's something to keep an eye on right now. A lot of guys still possibly in contention. I mean, we've seen crazier things this weekend happen. So do not, if you're watching right now, don't think, all right, Rose has got it. We still got a long way to go, Pete.
Yeah, long way to go. And, I mean, they are very spread out. NNR is not known for cautions. But, man, we've seen some pretty weird cautions fly this week. We've seen, wrecks that we didn't think were going to happen this week. We've seen a lot this week. We saw a lot, last week as well. We saw leaders completely lose it, getting loose in the final laps to give the win to somebody else. So, man, yeah, a lot can happen. There's still quite a bit to go. Track position is everything. Are they too spread out for new tires to matter? Absolutely not. Can fuel become a factor? I think it already is.
It definitely is, and something to keep in mind. We were talking about the possibility of cautions. I mentioned a certain incident that happened a little while ago, and I didn't know if it was lag. I didn't know if it was tempers flaring, but I just saw something very eerie happen again. So I don't think we are even close to this race being over. There may be a caution before this one's over.
What you got going on, man? Don't leave us hanging.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm keeping an eye on this battle between the 18 and 34. That's all I'm going to say. The 18 had a little bit of damage, but him and that 34, even though the 34 was able to get ahead, a little bit of contact between those guys. That 18's closing back in. I think we may have a little bit of tempers flaring right here.
Well, we'll definitely have to see. I mean, the 18 of Rowdy right on the back bumper of Tricky Tricks. You got the 95 of Jose laying back just a little bit. Yeah, the 18 absolutely dove that corner hard. And yeah, Rowdy comes on down and slams the Trippy into the inside wall. I don't think that's going to be a caution, but 34 Trippy, he's going to go ahead and bring that Mustang down pit road. Rowdy, as you said, not happy with Tricky. I'm going to guess probably the 18 is going to come down pit road also. Maybe try to fix that damage. Even though Rowdy tried to wreck him out, man, he ended up getting the worst deal. But I wouldn't want to see those two on a later lap or possibly alter the overall outcome of the race. That would be bad.
That'd be very interesting. Might want to just I'll keep an eye on them too later on. You might want to put that pot back on the back burner for a bit once they get out of pit road.
Yeah, I mean we've seen it in real NASCAR. Drivers waiting for each other. 29 laps to go. Next time, let's see. Next time Stout Whiskey comes across the stripe, pit road is getting busier and busier. Everybody making their final pit stop. Have to see how it plays out. Let's see, as Stout Whiskey comes across the line. Yep, exactly. 29 laps to go. Everybody is making their final pit. Man, yeah, 100% race. Tempers are going to get to be a little bit more than your typical 50% race because you're having to endure just a little bit more.
And these guys, I mean, we're racing at a later time than we ever expected. Usually right now, we wouldn't be at the 10:45 mark. We'd probably be hitting post-race interviews right about now.
Yeah.
We still have 20 laps of amazing action to go, and I can't wait for it. It's a little bit later, but it's a lot of fun. And you might want to go to the 34 because he has a little friend right in front of him.
Yeah, well, I would definitely hope not. I mean, Rowdy has that nickname Rowdy for a reason, but still, you gotta kind of don't alter the race. If you're gonna take your frustrations out on somebody, don't wreck the entire field. Don't bring the caution out because that's really where admins get in, and they're not too happy about it, like we saw on Tuesday night with the trucks. So hopefully Rowdy can keep on pressing on. He's got fresh tires. So does Trippy. Trippy's now about 10 car lengths behind him. Hopefully they can keep it that way. I don't see Rowdy slowing down in that 18 to try to do anything right now.
Yeah, and it's just going to bring up a lot of question marks at this point. Still going to be interesting to see as we move down the stretch, but just something to keep an eye on. We've already seen a few suspensions be handed out this week,
yep,
and we certainly don't want to see a few more happen after the conclusion of tonight's race.
110% right. 42 CGMX Rose up front right now. You still see him still leading in that Credit One Camaro. The 13 of Lucky Dog sitting back there as well. And then you see, I believe that was the, I think that might have been the 9 of More Smoke or the 48. But Knight's in that 12. He just brought his Mustang down pit road more and more, getting their final pit in. The 53 was the first one to open it up, but it was very, very staggered after that, and that's exactly what we're seeing now in the closing laps. Under 30 to go, 27 laps remaining.
And right here, this will tell me a lot on if that 95 is going to be able to make it. Rose and that group of guys, he was able to stay out ahead of them by about 7, 8 or so laps around that area, to the point if he's able to stay out a little bit longer than that, he might actually have a shot. And what I'm talking about is the 95 of Jose, just to remind that he's playing the fuel strategy game. That 42 still has to pit.
Yep, 42 is going to have to pit. There's no way that he was saving. Boehner, I've seen him save. I know exactly what his stream looks like when he's saving. He's hard on a throttle, fourth gear. All of a sudden, you see the RPMs drop down to 500 to 800, and he's really just coasting. That's actually the way that he went down pit road the last time he went down just when I questioned why he got a little bit of a love tap from the 34 before Boehner made his pit. So, man, lot can happen. I just hope that it's not due to somebody getting angry.
And that's certainly the case. You never want to see that, but coming to a short track, that's something that you got to expect, and that's the unfortunate part. Still keeping an eye on Jose. I'm going to see if he ever cycles out to the lead. I'm looking at our onboard of Stout Whiskey to keep that in check, but right now still a lot of things that could happen. The 42 actually ahead of the 95 out of pit road. Not sure if that's going to be based on time for position or if the 95 is almost ahead by a lap, but this is a big question on if he can make it, and depending on what he's able to do during this race.
Well, I've been on board with this Ream Camry for Jose for a little bit now. I think that is the 13 coming up behind him. So yeah, like you said, the 42 CJMX Rose, he's gotten by the 95. So the 95 would have to come one full lap around in order to unlap himself first and then pass Rose on pit road. So Rose, is he gonna, if that is the scenario and he's keeping an eye on his track map and sees the 95 come on by, it's already too late for him to alter how many tires he's getting. It's already too late to switch it from 4 back to 2. He's going to have to make whatever decision he's going to need to make before he gets to his pit stop, and just live with whatever the results are. But the 95, and I think in order to make that plan work, I think he needed to stay ahead of the 42, and that didn't happen.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. We're within, I believe we're going to be within 20 laps to go. So I think with how quick laps happen around here, of course, there's still a lot of time for that 42 to catch the 95. The 42 exiting for the 95 entering 3. So he's already caught him by basically a corner. He's a straightaway ahead of him. So, of course, that 95 can still be caught. That's going to be something to look at. The thing for him is that the pressure's on the 95 to make sure he has enough fuel. The pressure's also on the 42 to be like, okay, I got a long way to go in a very short time to get there, but he has one card in his back pocket, and that's the 95. Has a possibility he may not be able to make it, even though he's running the conservative strategy.
Well, the 42 and the 13 have both already gotten by the 95. The 95, he's a lap down. 12 laps remaining. So this is right about the point where the 95 would have had to have been saving for the entire run, like he's been doing. He's always been the last one to go down pit road. So is this where the 13 of Lucky or the 42 of CJMX Rose start really backing it down because they've got most of the field a lap down? 11 laps to go now. Actually, yeah. Okay, Stout Whiskey's sitting in P number 4 as he came across the line right there. But the 13 has gotten by the 95. So is the 42. I really think Jose needed just a little bit more speed in order to pull this off. It's going to be really, really interesting. We'll keep up with the 42, the 13, the 4, and I believe it's going to be the 48 inside your top 4 right now. The 9 of Amore Smoke I don't think is too far back, and see where these guys pit. They're all going to have to. None of them have been saving fuel like Jose.
And that certainly is the truth. I think the 42's already made his stop down pit road. We know that. The 95, the big question for him is, will he be able to stay on the lead lap? How many positions is he going to lose? I thought he was still going to be ahead. I thought the 42 was just unlapping himself. Of course, that wasn't the case. That's on me. That's my bad right there. But the strategy, I got to give it up to Jose to possibly be making that strategy. I still think he has a chance to be able to make it to the end, though. It's just the question of how much time is he going to lose in that process.
Well, we'll have to see. We were just riding along with the 34 Trippy Tricks. Nobody anywhere around him right now. You see the 9 of Amore Smoke up ahead as he tags the outside wall. Looks like he might have got a little loose, or maybe just a little bit of lag. Shot up. He sees the 13 coming up on him pretty quick. So that would be P2 trying to get around him as well. You see that dark blue car all the way up there? Yeah, he just lapped the 9. So now everybody except for the top 4 1 lap down. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and pull up the old Stout Whiskey in that deuce to see exactly where he is in relation to the 42. Looking backwards, I don't see Rose anywhere near him. So I think the top 4 are pretty good as it is. Oh, by the way, 5 laps to go.
And with 5 laps to go, this is when some of these guys can start playing conservative. The 42, he's got the gap. He can really, not force anything, not to make a mistake or anything like that. He's basically got the whole back straightaway between him and the 13. He has the 9 1 lap down, of course. So if I'm him, of course, he stayed mistake-free all race, but just to play conservative and not catch yourself on the apron or hit a seam or something like that, you don't need to go full 100% right now. I think he knows that, and I think we're going to see him play a little bit more conservative in these final few laps.
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely going to have to. I'm actually going to go on up and switch to the 42 of Rose right now. I mean, he's laps ahead of many people. Again, we started this race with 20 or 21 cars out on track. Many people lagged out or had other issues and not able to keep in it. But Rose coming across that start stripe, with, I would imagine that was probably just about 3 laps to go, maybe a little bit less. They're clicking him off so fast. No competition whatsoever in his rear view. This Credit One Camaro, I mean, he could pretty much coast for these last couple laps. Stout Whiskey, he's at the start stripe right now. Rose is about ready to knock this out. That's it right there. CGMX Rose grabs win number 11 or 12 in this season. Congratulations one more time. As HD used to say, CGMX Rose. Hashtag Young Gun. Hashtag win with Rose. Hashtag grow with Rose. This guy is just getting better and better. Look out, Pro League Season 4. He won that winter season thing that they had go on. So congratulations one more time, Rose. Good job, buddy. All right, we are going to get ready for post race. Going to grab our top 3. Again, there's going to be CGMX Rose, going to be the 13 of Lucky Dog, and I believe the 48 of the Aviator. Stout Whiskey P4, and Jose, by means of fuel, was able to stay inside the top 5. Looks like he was able to get by Amore Smoke right when it really mattered. So good job by Jose. Had that great long run car. We're gonna let them all settle down just a little bit, and we will be right back for post race interviews. Please keep it right here. Thanks. All right, guys, we are back. Definitely appreciate you for keeping it right here. Going to start it off with P number 3, driver of the Ally number 48, Hendrick Camaro. Aviator, buddy, you're getting laps upon laps upon laps in many different series. You've got late night, you've got American Ethanol, you've got NNR. You're all over the place. I think I heard soon to be on iRacing as well. You led a few laps tonight. You had a pretty strong car. Did you think about any kind of strategy throughout the race, or was it all just going to be about raw speed tonight to try to keep up with the 42?
Oh man, well, I'm very limited on equipment, so I couldn't really do any crazy strategies that could have possibly given me the win, so I kind of have to rely on raw speed. But overall, I mean, I put together a decent race. I definitely had a solidly third place car most of the race, but I was able to sneak into the lead a little bit there in the second stage and hold off Rose and Lucky for as long as I could. Then they got away, and there's nothing I could do. But prior to that race, just need to keep getting these podiums and gather the points. That's really all I need to do.
Well, I mean, you're doing a phenomenal job of talking about the points. I was actually just about to pull them up, but now no need to. You were originally part-time. Then you figured out that you're going to be able to run full-time. You got your school schedule down pat. Not only are you running here, but you've been running in American Ethanol. You were running in Sebi's. I think you were running in SXRL as well. Not 100% sure about that. I know a few others are. The seat time, it just seems to really work with you. You're a two-time champ here in the NNR Cup Series, trying very hard to make it 3 in a row. We've got Dover next week. A mix between Bristol and Iowa. What do you think you might have for the for Concrete Mile? Oh
man, Dover used to be my track, and it changed up a little bit. The cars changed, the tracks changed a little bit. Not as good as I used to be, but I definitely think I can bring a solid car there. We'll see.
Well, man, definitely looking forward to watching you there. Congratulations one more time, top 3. Great points night for you. Going to push you up further and further into that top 12, man. Yeah, man, I love watching your race. Good job. Any shout-outs, sir?
Shout out to you guys. Thank you for putting this on. Shout out for Stout for stepping in last minute for Koei. Yeah, that was fun.
There you go. Guys and gals, that was driver of the 48, the one and only Aviator. I think you might have somebody with Lucky something or other, expert, Lucky Dog maybe?
Yes, sir. Lucky Dog finishing P number 2. He was up there and battled for the lead for a bit, but was able to bring it home in P number 2. Lucky, you got a copy, bud?
Yeah, that Lucky Dog guy. He's crazy. What's good?
Always a awesome personality being able to talk to you, but you came in, you were able to put together a good performance, a lot of battling. The top 5 was almost with each other for a good bit, and it just seemed like Clean Air was able to carry Rose away once he got separated from you guys battling behind him. What was the one thing that pretty much hindered you? We saw at one point you were able to get up there and match speed with him, but it just looked like whenever you got caught up in battles, it just allowed him to pull away.
Yeah, well, this is my worst track out of all the tracks so far, so I knew going in it wasn't going to be the best performance I was going to put out, but I was going to give it my 110% as always. And I came into the race, we qualified 4th, which is okay. I mean, I don't really do a lot of qualifying practice. I typically want to work my way through the field. That's really not, qualifying is not the most important thing. It's all about a race. But I went into the race with really no Iowa preset experience at all. So I was led to believe that preset 1 was going to be the way to go, but it seemed like everybody was running preset 3 and 4, which is a pretty big difference for this track. So I was on the back foot immediately from the get-go. So you saw me fall from 4th to 8th there. Had 0 front grip of the tires at all. I was just struggling. I mean, I was getting put 3 wide. I was just like, oh man, I just got to settle down here. And I know I'm faster than some of these guys on the long run here. Just get past them. And that really was what was hurting us on the short run. For the first 20 laps, we were just not there at all. But then those final 20 laps were much better and more stable, of course, because we had a tighter car, and then made big adjustments to it. for stage 2, and then I was really loose because I was running a high line there for quite a bit, ripping the fence there, trying to mimic what Tyler Reddick was doing in the Homestead race, and it was, hopefully I gave you guys a pretty good view of that. It was pretty fun. I killed the right rear, but it was worth it anyway. And then stage 3, made some more adjustments to it, but just did not have the short run speed, like I said. Just really was struggling there. Just had no front grip compared to Rose. Rose did a great job. But I'll learn that for next time. This coming week is the penultimate race of the SXRL Cup Series around Iowa, and hopefully we can lock up the championship then. So hopefully I'll take what I learned from here and apply it over there. But yeah, not a bad race, and honestly happy to be on the podium here because I did not think that was going to be an option. So, hype.
It was a great performance overall. You come off of 2 wins, finish second here, and then you have Dover, Texas, and Darlington. Out of those 3 races before we hit the playoffs, which one are you more, or should I say most confident in at possibly putting yourself back in victory lane?
I've been hearing that next week's maybe New Hampshire, I think, because we did miss New Hampshire that 1 week. I think that's replacing Dover. Don't quote me on it. I think a week ago they said they were going to maybe replace Dover with New Hampshire. I don't know. Either way, I like both of those tracks. But if it's Dover, we had one get away. I messed up, got loose off 2, and cost us the win there. So potentially we could have a good, strong run at Dover if they're there. New Hampshire's not that great if we decide to race there. But Texas has been good to me. I won there in SXRL, so that was some good fortune there. But a lot of guys have gotten better at that track, so hopefully I can try and get better there too and try and learn some stuff. And Darlington is the week after, and I know Rose is going to be really strong there, so it's going to be hard to beat him. But remember, I was helping Eli and Amor practice at Darlington for American Ethanol, and had some really solid speed there. So hopefully I can take what I learned from practicing with them and apply to Darlington. But I don't know. It's anybody can win. The top 5 is so close together. I mean, it just depends. You have to be there when it matters and make all the right moves. So I don't know. But I do want to say, I got to say my thank yous. Big thanks to everybody from NNR for putting on this series. It's an honor and privilege to be here. I got to thank Hoey and Stout for taking the reins here, organizing these races. Got to thank Repeat and you, Expert, for the awesome commentary you guys give every single week. Thank you. And I got to say a big shout out to Rose and the victory there. He was doing a great job. And shout out to Eli on his 3rd place. Had some good racing there with Jay Paul and Dan Longman and Moore, Stout. A lot of guys out there, so had a lot of fun. It was pretty frustrating at the start, but it was still really fun to work a lot of lanes, and all my family and friends are the great support they've been giving me throughout this. And so unfortunately couldn't make it 3 in a row, but I mean, 2nd place is not a bad result at all. It's really good. Got some good stage points. So hopefully in these next 3 weeks we can continue to accumulate these points and try and get some playoff points to get closer and closer to Rose, so we can be in a safer position at the playoffs. So really happy, looking forward to the next few races. Hopefully we can build up momentum and give them hell. Let's do it.
Definitely. Well, always a pleasure talking to you, Lucky Dog. And Pete, I think we have ourselves a now 7-time winner this season. I think you have Mr. Rose in victory lane.
We're just gonna skip over Rose. I don't want to talk to Rose anymore. I tell you. Nah, I'm just kidding. Rose, it is Repeat. Man, what a race. I tell you, in stage number 1, you were setting up some burner laps. I didn't think anybody was going to catch you. I think you put up to about P number 7 a lap down. And then in stage 2, stage 3, it kind of calmed down a little bit. People were able to get more adjustments under them and kind of keep up with you. But when it was all said and done, smokes cleared after your burnouts, you're here, and we're talking about another win as a driver for that 42 Credit One Chip Ganassi Gaming Camaro. Buddy, one hell of a race.
Yeah, thank you, Pete. It's been a while, to say the least. I think it was 7 weeks in a row without a win.
Well, don't focus on the negative here. You definitely got to focus on the positive. But you set sail in stage number 1. Nobody had anything for you. What adjustments did you have to make throughout the race in order to stay ahead of them when they got better?
The biggest adjustment I had to make was just stay patient, and then when someone got by me, just make sure to not overdrive the car, especially off exits where I was just plowing if I overdrove it. So I just had to keep that in mind, and just sort slowly as the run went on, I was able to pass guys that got by me on the starts, and we were able to bring it home.
Now I have to ask you, all right, because there's a lot of curiosity about this season versus last season. Last season you weren't part of the pro league. This season you were, and you've got that great Fanatec wheel. And there's got to be some adjustments that you're able to make from behind the wheel that, or are there? I should be asking rather than telling. What adjustments are you able to make with that wheel that nobody else is able to touch, and is really just propelled you to the lead in just about every race that we've ran this season?
On the wheel, I know Fanatec has a bunch of settings, but me personally, I don't really change much. The only one I have changed is the degrees of rotation, which I have that set at like I think 540 or something. But other than that, it's just practicing and staying sharp and being ready for the races.
Okay, so rumor mill saying that there's brake bias and all that in those wheels. Nothing doing, huh? Just a rotation.
That's in the wheels, but I don't play around with that. It's just not something I've decided to play around with at all.
Oh man, one hell of another dominant performance. Everybody up to the top four, one lap down. I'm sorry, top five was one lap down. Jose 95 with that little bit of fuel strategy, able to bring it home. More Smoke was the first car, one lap down. So, man, great job yet again. This season is looking more and more as a lock, or a great chance, however, for that championship. You just heard Expert ask Lucky about the next three races, whether it's going to be New Hampshire or Dover, then Darlington and Texas, I believe it was. I could be wrong. What do you see? Where's your biggest challenge in the next three races? Where's your biggest strength?
Biggest strength is probably New Hampshire, and I haven't ran much of Darlington on the game, so that might be the 1 weak point out of all three, but I think I could do well at all three and have a shot at winning all three.
Well, I mean, right now you've got a 121 point lead back to Stout Whiskey, 196 over a More Smoke, and beyond that you're mid 200s, mid 300s, low three. I mean, you're going way back. And this season, unlike years past, it's not a win and you're in kind of deal. It's all about overall points. Right now, you're sitting pretty good. I think you probably got one hand on that trophy. You might be the one, with standing with your arms crossed on NNR's homepage, talking about a championship with your bio behind it. Congratulations one more time, your 7th win of the season. Any shout outs there, bud?
First of all, thank you, and you guys up in the booth. Stout for stepping in for Coach tonight, and all the drivers for running a clean race all through. I don't think we had a caution at all.
You're 100% right. No caution except for the stages. First series to actually do that. There's some cautions with the truck and Xfinity, but no, Cup guys took it green all the way. Good job. All right, guys. Looks like Expert had to dip out. It's kind of late, but Expert, definitely appreciate you for coming out and calling this long 100% race for the possibly could be the very last Iowa. I definitely appreciate everybody for coming out, hanging out, chatting it up, keeping us company. Definitely want to thank everybody for all the bits shared throughout the chat. Vols, Expert, Monster, everybody. Absolutely appreciate you. Rock NASCAR, absolutely appreciate you as well. We will be back next week, whether it's from Dover or New Hampshire. That is yet to be seen. But don't forget, Saturday night, right around 8:30, we'll have Turn Down for What? And on Sunday, it'll be right back with Shadows Racing League. We'll see you again very, very soon. Again, wear your mask, stay safe, And hopefully we'll see you around the track sometime very, very soon. Have a good night, everybody.